Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside. Something Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Saturday Sports Countdown. As I hear that intro for the 8 millionth time in my life, we failed massively, you, Scott. We failed you massively.
It's all right.
It's really not all right. It's not all right. I mean, I'm like, really, man?
Well,
like,
at least as long as it's acknowledged, it's all right. So I
it wasn't even acknowledged.
Well, we do when you say
Well, I mean,
Brett
we gotta
Pritchard
get
and
that
Scott
checked.
Harden.
Look, let me make a note and hold me accountable. All right, that's pathetic. You only been on here 27,000 times, and we don't have your name in the intros. I mean, that is totally on us. It's pathetic. But anyway, happy Saturday out there to everybody, and we appreciate all of you joining us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. You can call us 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. You can comment on Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you go out there and like our YouTube channel. We want to continue to build that up. A lot of you are watching us there now, so we appreciate that. Get a little comments there. Scott, we head into June, so we do a lot of previewing of football, but we got a lot of things going on right now. And, I guess for us as a group, we'll start with AHSAA and new executive director named this week. And Heath Harmon from Oxford High School, the principal there, will be taking over for Alvin Briggs, who's been there since 2021. And then, of course, prior to that, Coach Steve Savarese, the longtime executive director, there right here from Alexander City. So it's the first time I can remember really having a guy that we didn't know personally. Coach Savarese, I remember the opportunity he gave us in the bid process with everybody else trying to get the contract. And, it's easy to win a contract when you come in and say, look, it ain't going to cost you anything. So everybody else was charging them. And I said, look, I said, here's the idiot, the work for free guy. Said, look, we'll come in and do it for nothing, and we'll just build it up. And that's what we did. And then, of course, it's been great working with Alvin the last several years and his leadership and his direction and kind of what he's, left his mark on with the association, with expanding the coverage and some of the things that we've had ideas on that still haven't fully come to fruition. But I guess you look at it now, and Heath comes highly recommended from Oxford High School. He's done a really good job there as the leader of that high school. So just kind of your thoughts on that, Scott, as you look down in a new era of the HSA. And I'll say this before you mention anything. I think he's going into one of the most challenging times in high school athletics. Looking forward to having him on with us to talk about his role and what his vision is and where he sees the HSA going. As a young man, 49 years old, where he sees this association in Alabama going the next 10 years as we see everything around us in other states, starting to buy into things and change.
Yeah, just first on his hire, I think that, as you said, he comes well recommended, and I think that some positives for him. He was, along with being a former coach, obviously he's coming in as a principal, so he's got different perspectives that maybe you bring to the table that the AHSAA's director's position hasn't had before. But the people in Oxford seem to be really excited about the direction they were going with him. Leading the helm for the Oxford High School. But I think it's a good hire. And, during his press conference, he was asked pretty quickly. Those were some of the questions about NIL and, comparison between us and some other states. And, that was some things that he said that they would have to hit the ground running pretty quickly to address. But I do think that it could it couldn't be more challenging. Whoever was in this role, whether it was Alvin or the new hire, you were going to be facing some challenging things. And as the dynamic of college sports continues to shift and how that's going to go down into the high school ranks, so it's inevitable that at some point it'll be brought to the table. I'm sure the legislature will have it brought to them probably in the next session. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Florida announces this past week that they will be allowing NIL. So, again, you're going to have to face it head on. And, again, with all the states around us.
But what does that mean? Can you explain that a little bit to people, what that would mean from a high school perspective?
You can go out and get deals now, whereas an amateur in the past, you could not go out and solicit money to play or whatever. It just gives now student athletes the freedom to go sign deals with companies and represent them while they're representing their school. Best I can tell with what Alvin explained here, and this was brought up in the meeting back in August before the season started this past year, and somebody asked him about NIL, and he said, student athletes have always been able to go out and do NIL. He said, it's how you approach it. He said, if somebody in your local community wants to be sponsored by Joe's Tire Shack, they just can't go and wear their high school's jersey in the picture or in the video. They can go and do whatever they want to do. If Joe's Tire Shack wants to hire Scott Hardy as their representative and they do a commercial around it, you can go stand out in school colors, but you can't have that logo on. Now, I guess when these states pass NIL from a association standpoint, then they can go now wear their jersey and they can make that association. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're more identifiable. Now, a top-ranked athlete's going to be identifiable, but the whole reason that NIL thing works for business is because you're getting somebody that carries some weight to come out and promote your product, right? You're not just randomly picking somebody to go out and go, hey, come to Joe's Tire Shack and buy your next set of tires. By the way, I didn't choose that business with you. That was actually kind of I don't know why I did that. I guess it just came out. So if anybody's had more tires in a short amount of time
would be
than
fitting.
you, I don't know. You could go get an NIL deal.
I absolutely
as many tires
should.
as you've bought in the past. But that to me is kind of how it all works.
Yeah, and I'm just, as we think about NIL from the college perspective, hadn't really seen a lot of endorsements or things. I know people have contracts I hadn't seen too much.
You're not making anybody do anything. I mean,
so that's that. Like I understand it I don't understand the college side, but I kind of see where we're going with that. But on the high school level, I guess it'll just make it easier maybe for people to end up in certain places or, however that goes. So I don't know.
You're smiling because you know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just say it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the freedom to say it on here on the air because we aren't held to anybody. I mean, the bottom line is we've known that NIL and this collective thing has been just a cover to say, look, we can legally pay people now. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And the whole gist of that was when a student athlete got to your school, they could go out and go to Joe's Tire Shack and get a contract and go do commercials and endorsements, and then that business and organization pay them for their name, image, and likeness. That is not even close to what's going on. And anybody that wants to try to spin it in that direction, good luck. If you want to try to convince me of that, I know for a fact that's not what's going on. So, and again, moving into this next generation of student athletes and going to these camps and, a kid saying, I like this school and I want to, I'm really leaning here. I do think I got some pretty good information yesterday from some of our friends that cover these teams on a regular basis, and they were talking about the number that you see out there that some of these student athletes, well, I got 400,000 or I got this. Well, these schools are now incorporating the value of your scholarship and your room and board in that number, which Well,
should.
Heck.
Yeah.
What a great thought. I mean, it's like you were expected to just be handed all that for free and not be counted. It has a value. So I'm proud that those colleges are starting to say, okay, you sign a NIL deal or collective, part of the deal's paying for your room and board and all your meals and your your scholarship. I mean, that's the way it should be, shouldn't it, Scott?
It should. I mean, that actually is crazy to sound like that should have already been.
Well, it should have been predetermined.
Yeah. So I mean, I get some of the discomfort and heartburn that this is going to continue to cause, but I'm interested to see what happens when the new NCAA football game comes out, how that conversation – I know that they're saying they're going to pay the players and
When's
they can opt in.
When's the official day of that coming out? I know
July the 19th.
Everybody gets a little extra money. You want to pay $100.
And then you can get it like the 16th. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And everybody's going to pay the $100.
They're going to pay
I mean, if you buy in that game, you ain't going to wait 3 days.
Yeah. So I want to see – how that change. I know that's kind of how we got here was because of the game, and now that it's back, if you're Shedeur Sanders and you're on the cover, or you're, if you were Caleb Williams last year and you were on the cover, I don't know if it goes back to. I don't think I should be getting the same $600 as the backup tight end that plays for
because the game's paying each player, right?
Yeah,
$600.
Yeah, something. I think that's it. And so you can decide not to.
How minuscule?
Yeah,
is that?
I mean,
for what they gonna get out.
So
of
that I'm.
And how ironic that the game comes back this year.
Yeah. So it's.
I mean, it's.
I don't know.
It's all come full circle.
It has, but interesting time for athletics in general, and maybe a little later. I saw a video, and we've talked a little bit about it, but. Just how it's going to impact your other sports, and as we continue to go down that path.
This is the challenge for I know everybody that tunes in every day on this show is like, do they say anything outside of it? But literally, it has. I don't want to use the word infected, but infiltrated what we do. I mean, to the point where if you don't talk about it, you're really kind of out of the loop. I mean, it's affecting everything. So I know we're up against a break. We'll come back. We'll keep this discussion going and a lot more to get to here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and air needs out there, give Sunshine Heating and Air a call. Good friend Kevin Keel in Davil, Alabama, been part of our program a long time, and we appreciate it. 256-825-4849 is the number to call. How nice was it this morning? Just really, really nice outside. A little bit of a reprieve from the humidity as we get a little bit of cooler air that sweeps through. Kind of feels like a mid-fall morning. You kind of have the football feel in the air, but you look up, it's in June. So better enjoy it a little bit yesterday, today, and then tomorrow before it goes away. But then we'll be in full-blown
it's supposed to get pretty hot.
to death mode. Even at night, you don't get much relief around here. But just going back, carrying over what we had in the first segment with Heath Harmon from Oxford High School taking over as the executive director for the Alabama High School Athletic Association. It's the 6th director in the history of the association. And, again, looking forward to seeing what his vision is. And you and I kind of got into the NIL, and we were talking about, and I know every executive director, every leadership person has had their own things that they've had to face, challenges they've had to face. But you look at an era where we're going in, I don't know that we've seen an era in high school sports that will be as affected as the one that he'll take over here now. And a lot of decisions from the state level on, what will the state decide to do officially? Will they endorse NIL and come out like the Florida Association did and 37 other states now in the United States that have pretty much said NIL is good to go? And I think it's inevitable, but when you got bordering states, I think this is what you've got to bring up. When you got top prospects around, the state of Alabama and the high schools are going to have to figure out, because they'll get recruited from other states. And if they can move or wherever it is, I'm just speaking from what reality is out there, especially if you're on the border of Alabama and it's not a big move for you, or you can drive, 20 minutes one way or another to go to high school somewhere, and they can get deals, whereas you can't here. You're going to see some decisions being made, Scott.
Yeah, and it's kind of how we got to where we are now from the college perspective was, dealing with the collectives and the interactions when you had bordering states were doing one thing and the other states weren't doing it. So, again, you're looking for some uniformity within the policies, but at the same time, if you could already do it, and maybe that's what, if you're the state, you come out and say that, it's like, we're not in it, it's already available for you to do it. It just, I wouldn't even want to have to legislate it, because then it becomes a even bigger thing, but somebody has to get a grasp on the direction of where that's going. But I think you make a really good point. If you're just not saying this is happening, but if you're sitting in Smith Station and, or if you're in Dothan and you could just go to Florida, or you could go to Georgia to go play, and it wouldn't be that hard of a move, I could see where that would make sense if you're a top-tier guy.
I can see, the college, how this works out the next few years in college having a major influence on what happens in high school. If this college deal falls apart, if it if it gets to a point where they go, we got to hit a reset button, we got to, all right, you know, all of you that got what you got, congratulations, but we're going to have to start over and scrap. I mean, I think you're going to, I mean, high school obviously is a little bit behind what goes on in college and vice versa all the way down. I think you're going to really see what happens in the college side affect whether high school moves forward or whether they have to back off or whatever that ends up happening, because, you know, it's on a smaller scale on the high school side than it is the college, but the college is what we're really what everybody's watching right now to see how this thing all plays out and who can afford what. And, I mean, we watched the Women's College World Series this week, and Oklahoma wins another one. That's 4 in a row, and Texas was number 1. But it just shows you Oklahoma knows how to win when they get there. Both of those teams are coming to the SEC. Well, those girls want to get paid too. And you look at all these sports. You just mentioned it in the first segment. How does in football revenue? And look, there's another topic I want to bring up here, and we'll carry it over into the next segment. Dan Hurley's being pursued by the L.A. Lakers right now. And, you know, he came out and pretty much said he wasn't leaving UConn for any college. But, well, it's different when the NBA calls. He's thinking about the same things these other college coaches are thinking about in football and everywhere else. I can go to the NBA, I can make a lot of money, and I ain't got to deal with all this other junk. I ain't got to deal with recruiting. And Randy brought up a good point. He and I were talking yesterday. And I know this is crazy to say because UConn's won back-to-back national championships. But he goes, you got to start thinking about how hard it's going to be to win at a place like UConn. And I went, what are you talking about? He goes, well, the football program, it seems like going to be the revenue that drives the athletic department for these schools. Well, UConn's football program ain't no good. They don't bring any revenue in. So if you're using that as part of the whole deal when you're building up your athletic department and sharing in the money to help boost your other sports, well, UConn's not going to get as much as some of these other schools like Auburn, like Alabama. So, you know, yeah, tradition's great, but I can promise you this, and UConn's got a great roster. They're poised to do exactly what they did the last 2 years. Watch Dan Hurley leave, exit stage left, and I bet you every one of those players, I mean, depending on who they're able to go out and hire, will either – I mean, we saw it happen in Kentucky, didn't we? So, I mean – you got to think about that at some of these other schools where, yeah, right now they've got tradition, they got a great coach, they've been able to maintain, but in the future they may not be the power that they've been in the last several years.
Agreed. And I think that you'll start to see more and more college coaches not necessarily make the jump to –
I think they're looking if they've got a chance.
I think now more so than ever the pressure that's – on a college, we'll say college football and basketball for the sake of this conversation, how much pressure is on them. And so the amount of work that you have to do to, A, get your roster, B, keep your roster, and then win on top of that. So, like, it's a lot different than what it was just 5 years ago, 3 years ago. So the way that coaches are having to go about things now is a lot different. And I can understand the resentment toward where things are going because it's not – I'm not going to say it's not what you signed up for, but, like, you're just in bidding wars with other teams. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you have to have something to offer, obviously, but if you're Duke and you're going against another school, it doesn't really matter anymore that you're Duke or Kentucky. It's
That's
about
what I'm saying. The names don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's what can you offer and how you compete. The fact that Kirby Smart even entertained going to a pro job last year after doing what he's done should tell you where the state of college athletics is. You know, he can go pro and not have to put up with – and he's a good recruiter and all, but even on the good recruiters, even on the ones that know how to do it the best, it's the challenge.
Saban would still be at Alabama if it was.
I think so. Yeah. And then you look at what the Coastal Carolina coach said in baseball after he said if we had this – if Major League Baseball and NFL, NBA had this model, they'd be broke. There wouldn't be but 3 or 4 teams in each league that would even have a chance to win it every year because it's all about who's got the most money and the most – I mean, it's not equitable. I mean, and that's not what we want. That's not what anybody wants at the pro level or the college level, and he's kind of making a point that the pros have better structure than we do right now. because it's more equitable in the pros because they have laws and regulations to go by. Down here in the college ranks, we have nothing. That's why you see a lot of these college coaches wanting to – it used to be opposite of that. And they're trying to get out of pro to get to the college rank because they couldn't control the players. Now they want to get out of college and go to the pros because you know why? Because they can't control the players. It's kind of flipped on its head. All right, up against another break. We'll be back here in just a little bit.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Now's the time, and Team One Hyundai is the place for the best deals on a new Hyundai. Rebates up to $2,000, 3 years of complimentary maintenance, and the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Team One Hyundai has Elantra, Palisade, Santa Cruz, and the all-new Santa Fe. Get America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, plus Hyundai Assurance, and the best deal you can find. Let us prove it. Team One Hyundai, Highway 77 in Rainbow City.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR. Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Beautiful Saturday out there. Hope all of you are having a great day so far as you wake up. Nice weather outside. Take advantage of it. Get out and about. Scott, kind of shift over real quick. Last night, the Auburn men's track and field team finished runner-up in the country by .01. By .01. They lost by a point, but .01 on the clock with Florida in that last race, and Auburn finished second. But unless I've missed something over the years, that's the best I think this team and program's ever done. So, I mean, and we'll have Luke talk about Alabama a little bit later on, but, man, Auburn's – are we good in everything but football right now?
I was about to say,
every time I look up, we're holding up a trophy in you know, golf and you know, basketball and all the way down the lines. I mean, equestrian and just every sport, it just seems like. And, I know baseball was off a little bit this year, but you got 2 new coaches with softball. I mean, just seems like, man, everything is rolling in the right direction. And hopefully, like you said, can we get back to 8-4 so we can at least start showing the climb? And then, Cedarian Morgan from right here in Alex City, one of the top prospects in his class, had a great camp at Auburn the last, I think a couple days ago when they were down there at the 7-on-7. Really turned heads. All the beat writers were really writing about him. I know there were other players down there that everybody was, glad to see and followed, but seemed like he grabbed the headlines with his performance and what he's able to do. And had a couple calls yesterday from some of those guys, and they were like, look, you can just tell how much he's advanced and grown from last year. And it really looks like a true wide receiver, and knowing how to run routes and knowing how to, get his size to his advantage against one-on-one matchups and things like that. And then the speed when he catches the ball and able to pull away from, he's going to get every offer out there from every major school, Scott. So, but good to see him going down. A lot of other these kids that go to these camps, that's an opportunity for them to showcase what they can do in a one-on-one type environment.
Yeah, and I do want to say something about that for a little bit, talking about Cedarian, just Benjamin Russell in general. It's been a while since we've had this much attention on the school from a recruiting perspective. In the early 2000s, mid-2000s, we were pretty dominant in terms of putting people into the college ranks. I think there was an Auburn player or a Benjamin Russell player on Auburn's roster for nearly a decade. So it's good to see that. And as you said, I think the other part of this is, too, it gets some other guys who may be fringe guys from a recruiting level. You get some eyes on you as well. Doubt. So it's a win-win for everybody. But Cedarian Morgan continues to be one of the highest recruits in the country. He gets the Miami offer a couple of days ago, gets the Clemson offer, Tennessee, all of them. So we made a joke about it earlier this week. Like, you don't even really have to ask him more. It's just if you look up, why
don't they just all go ahead? Why are we waiting? But I know they want to get them, if they have an opportunity to get kids on campus and do it officially in person. But
have y'all talked about the Dabo stuff? About him not knowing the kid's name? Did y'all talk about that?
I have not.
This week?
No, I haven't.
So
you got to elaborate on that.
There was a video. I guess it was at Dabo's house, but he was hosting some recruits, or some event space that were hosting recruits. And so there's this 5-star recruit, and he gets in the camera and he's like, "Hey," he said, "I'm here with what's your name?" And he's like, "You're 5-star, right?" And like, he doesn't even know the guy's name. And there's another recruit comes in. He's like, "Yeah, you can be here with him." And he's like, "These two right here."
That looks great.
Yeah. And that's basically what everybody was saying, just how out of touch he is kind of with this. And I do think Dabo's a really good coach.
But I think that ship sailed.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start to see. I really see. Justin said it was Brandon Jacobs' son. So. You just see the shift, and we've talked about this for several months now. And then Clemson last year, and the blow up on the radio show with the fan, and he absolutely does not embrace the transfer portal. He said they're not going to do it there, and he's trying to be the last holdout. Yeah, they're trying to hold the ridge up there. And it's not going to happen because everybody around them, everybody in the country is doing this to stay alive. Even Nick Saban at Alabama had to change his philosophy on defense, or else it wouldn't have worked as long as it did. You got to be able to adapt and change. And look, I can appreciate Dabo to an extent of saying, "Hey, look, this is how we're going to do it here. And we're going to continue to do it here this way," but don't get on camera and not know who somebody is, or don't let that get out.
Yeah,
right.
That's the other part in that, and so, but it's just.
But be prepared. If you got visitors, and then you got top ranked players, know who they are. You know, I'll never forget the story about Terry Bowden in Auburn years ago, and offensive lineman on the team. I can't remember if he was a starter or he was a contributor. I don't think he was a starter, but he was on the team, and everybody knew he was. At the time, it may have been – it was TJ, I believe. TJ, I can't remember. Anyway, he was on the team. Everybody knew he was. I mean, the guy's 6'8", right? And he's in line behind Terry Bowden at this restaurant, and Terry Bowden turns around and sees him and is like, man, son, you know, we need to get you a scholarship on the team. And he said, well, Coach, I am. I'm number 69. And it's like, you know, like, man, are you that out of touch? That, you know, I know you got 100 and something kids on a roster, but if you're a coach and don't know who everybody is, that's a problem.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's not a lot to expect for you as the head person of. I'd be like you running a company and not knowing who somebody is working for you.
100%.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just, again, like I can appreciate, as you said, what Dabo stands for and all those things, but if you're in this business, because that's what it is now, if you're in this business, you have to adapt or it's not going to happen for you. And so when you're competing, you look at we'll say 5 years ago, Clemson was the hottest team in the country.
Look, they called it at the right time. Mm-hmm. He got them to prominence at the right time. There's no doubt. Clemson used to be a verb with all of us. You know, we kind of laugh about it being Auburn too, you know, now, but they erased that. I mean, he was able to recruit and get Clemson to a level they've never been to. But the other teams that they've competed with, they've fallen off compared to where everybody else has stayed that they were up in that little top echelon with, like the Alabamas, the Georgias, those type of Ohio States. Clemson was mentioned in that breath. They're not mentioned there anymore. I mean, do you mention Clemson as a top 4 team now?
I think it's over.
I do too. I do. I'm not saying he's not still capable of winning 7-8 games over there at Clemson, but they've been used to winning 10, 11, 12. And now that they've fallen off, and Tony just said, I think it's only a matter of time before Dabo retires and goes to the NFL, leaves and goes to the NFL. I don't know if he'll go to the NFL. He may just go to the house, but he may do something else. But you know, last year I could see the crack in the armor when the guy on the radio show pretty much called him out, and he exploded and said, I don't need to be, you know, look, I've done this for however long, and I'm successful, and blah, blah. And when you start defending yourself like that out of anger, you can kind of feel it slipping away a little bit. So, all right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
there's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here on the first hour of the program. We appreciate all of you that tune us in on Saturday mornings here. And just kind of going back to how fast you can kind of be at the top of the mountain and kind of go down. Clemson, this is a perfect example of deciding if you want to dig your heels into your foxhole and not change anything about the way you do it, or you recognize the way things are changing, and whether you like them or not, you know, if I don't do something, then it's going to start affecting us negatively as a program. And, you know, right now it just seems like, you know, there for a while, every time Dabo got up in front of a camera all those years, it was always he always said the right thing. He always said the thing everybody rallied behind. It seemed like he always made the best decision. Last few years, it seems like everything he said's been off or hadn't been the best decision, or, you know, you look at the way the program's gone and the struggles on offense and just different things. I mean, I know their record hasn't been terrible, but it wasn't to where it was when they were with Alabama and Ohio State consistently going into the playoff and being one of those teams that was in contention for a national championship. They're not mentioned anymore. I mean, they're not in that I mean, Texas is kind of taking that reign from them. Oklahoma, I would think, would be mentioned before them. I mean, other programs like that before you would even talk. Florida State has vaulted ahead of them now after they were in the dumps. After Jimbo Fisher left them, I'm talking about outside of Brian Harsin and what he left Auburn, I'm not sure that a program could have been left in the dumps worse than what Jimbo Fisher did at Florida State. But, you know, that could happen to Clemson. He could hang around till it's just dead.
Man, and I hate that for him because, I mean, I haven't necessarily ever been a big Clemson fan. I could appreciate, you know, the success of what they were doing, but he's been a mainstay in college football and one of the top-tier programs for a decade, not a decade, 7, 8 years, and now to see it fall off so quickly. And again, it just shows you if you're not willing to change, what will happen. And so the flip side of that, as you said, it has allowed some other programs who are willing to do that to kind of elevate themselves. And so, again, it's just we talk about, we use this term a lot, but arms race, like it's never been more factual than it is now in college football.
Well, Scott, look at the teams that we just talked about. All right. The Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States. It was usually them and Clemson, right? That's what we had started to see as playoff teams. Now Texas is up there. They're number 3. Oregon, number 4. Michigan just won a national title. Florida State's ahead of them. LSU definitely, I think. Maybe a Tennessee, Oklahoma. Before you even get to Clemson to talk about, I mean, I think Clemson's like maybe a 15 to 20 type program. I think you could loop in teams like, you know, Texas A&M possibly, Ole Miss, as comparable to them.
Ole Miss and Clemson, I think, is a good comp. I
think Ole Miss may be ahead of them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, and look, we had Luke on last week, and he said, look, I think there's a lot of hype around Ole Miss for a reason, but they've never really done anything. And until you do something, it's hard. There's a lot of firsts they've got to get through this year before they can be a national championship contending team. But, I mean, even a Washington that just played for it last year, you know, that's another thing. I know DeBoer's at Alabama now, and Michael Penix kind of was the guy and all that, but Clemson's not being mentioned in this talk. And so we bring that up because of the NIL and all this and how it ties in, and you got a guy over here that's refusing to change. And I can appreciate his willingness to say, I'm going to fight this, and I think we can win. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out well for him, especially when you get in front of a camera and don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and that part really, like, that seemed so far from Dabo. But
that is a crucial mistake.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it didn't go viral, but it did. I mean, in the recruiting, the players saw it. I'll say, and if
do you think you're gonna get that kid now?
That's when it's like, man, it's embarrassing to him first off, and then second, it's embarrassing to you and the team that you don't know. And it wasn't. I mean, not that it should matter, but I mean, this wasn't like just somebody that was just here with some people.
I want you to think about the stature of him 5, 6, 7 years ago compared to where he is now. I mean, it was like there were so many Alabama fans that just felt like he's the next guy. Like, and that's how well he did of getting Clemson up to that level, and beat Alabama in the national championship game, and competed against them in another one, and just kind of was one of those deals where it's like, man, he's the prime guy to fill right in. And then as the years went on, you started seeing more people kind of fall off and go, well, I don't know about that, and I'm not sure that he really would be. But it was a natural fit there for a while because he was a former Alabama player and, did all that. Then it was like, well, I don't know if I want to leave Clemson. Why would I leave Clemson with what I've built? Yeah. It's mine, and go to Alabama where you're going to follow Nick Saban, all that pressure. It's just been kind of interesting to follow this whole progression of Dabo Swinney and where Clemson is now in this new modern world, college football. And then add into the mix, Scott, the turmoil of Clemson and Florida State trying to get out of the ACC.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. The only positive, not the only positive, but one of the things, at least in the short term, it may not last too much longer, but with 12 teams, that 10-win mark maybe gets you in, depending on what happens with them within the conference. But so that maybe keeps them relevant. But I'm just thinking from a recruiting perspective, despite let's throw out the video, but like if you're not willing to play the game the way everybody else is, like how are they going to continue to build the roster to be able to compete against the teams that we've mentioned that have catapulted them in the rankings and prestige of college football?
Right. I mean, and the reason you bring this up is you look at Dabo Swinney, and I guess going back to 15, 14-1, 14-1, 12-2, 15-0, 14-1, 10-2, 10-3, 11-3, and then 9-4 last year. And you started to see in the 2022 year of 11-3 several near misses with offense and beating teams. He had a really good defense still. Brent Venables, now Brent Venables takes off and goes to, he's been through several O coordinators, and then now you're 9-4, and a few of those were ugly. And then now with recruiting, they haven't been recruiting to the level they've been recruiting. So how will they compete this year? I think you go 9-4 if you've been the best team in the league for so long, strictly because you just got better players than everybody else in the ACC. Well, that's not necessarily the case anymore, Scott. So we'll see how it plays. Like you just said, based off your analysis, they would have been borderline getting in a 12-team playoff with a 9-4 record.
It makes it's eerie. I think this year could tell a lot about the trajectory of the program. We kind of see it's trending downward, but if they go another 9-4 or 9-3, 8-4, it could be tough for them moving forward.
All right, let's go to break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance, with a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners. They honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Daveville. No appointment needed.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rates. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tritoons and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water, whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. Tony Sarah Ford has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Ford and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Right now, valued customers receive up to $4,000 on select 2023 F-150 trucks plus 1.9% APR, or a new Bronco Sport for $393 a month plus $750 bonus cash. Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Tony Sarah Ford in Sylacauga.
Everyone to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's go to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline and welcome in our good friend, Dr. Jay Reyes, the new superintendent here at Alexander City. And Jay, I'll just say welcome back. We've been welcoming you back here the last few weeks, but officially here on Sports Blitz, we want to say back here in Alexander City, welcome back home.
Hey, Brett, we're great. It's great to be back, and just so excited to hear you say my name and put Alexander City School Superintendent behind that, Brett. It just means a lot to me and my family, and we're just excited about being back. We're just so humbled by the positive response that we've had from the community, and we just can't wait to get down there July the 1st and get started and get this train rolling.
You know, and I know you've already been here a couple of times, and you plan on being here a few more times before officially you begin July the 1st. So kind of shows your dedication, and, you know, you're trying to, you know, continue doing what you're doing in Calhoun County for that system. I know it was a tough decision for you. You really loved where you are and where you've been, and I know you're appreciative for what they were able to do. But as you and I have talked numerous times, when home calls, it carries a little bit more weight, and it doesn't mean that there's anything against where you are currently. But when you have that opportunity to go back to a place that you love and call home, it's hard to turn it down.
Absolutely, and it is difficult to leave Calhoun County. Got a great board, a great central office staff, a great group of principals and assistant principals, and we really had things going. I think if anybody would reach out to the 1,100 employees that we have there, that they would tell you that things were really going in a good direction. But again, Alex City called, and there really wasn't a whole lot of wavering there at all. I knew that when, I think as Bear Bryant said, when Mama calls, you got to go. And, that's kind of how I felt. That's where we have spent the majority of our adult life. Our children basically grew up in the Alexander City, Lake Martin area, and it is just a place that is just second to none, and it's a time bomb waiting to go off in terms of expansion economically, athletically, in the arts and academics with what's going on with the school system. So we're just excited to be back.
Well, Dr. Reyes, you brought up athletics, and many people who remember you being, the principal at Benjamin Russell, and just your affinity for high school sports, specifically the Wildcats. But as we shift into this new era of athletics, how do you see, and we talk about it a lot too, just how the success of athletics correlates to the success of a school and a community? Can you talk a little bit about that and just how excited a community can be and how great it can be when your athletics are performing as well as your academics?
No, absolutely. And I remember, guys, when we first got to Benjamin Russell, our athletic programs had taken a dip, not being critical of anyone, but they had taken a dip, and, we were able and fortunate to get Danny Horn to come on as our football coach, Jeff Hines as our basketball coach. Of course, we had Hall of Famers like Richie Brooks and Pam Robinson in place as well. And once we got that thing rolling after those first couple of years, what you could do is you could just see a whole transformation of how everybody felt about themselves. The hallways were different. The discipline was different. The academics was different because everyone felt good about themselves because we were a part of an overall winning program. Not just football. All of our sports were being very successful. And what happens in a town like Alex City, just like with any other town that size, that is kind of the identity of the town. How goes the school system and its kids and when they're performing, again, athletically, and in the arts and academics, that just gets people fired up and they get excited, and that's what makes the town go. I can't overstate the importance of the success of your high school athletics program, and we're successful now, but guys, I just think about the new high school, what I saw when I went out there. I just don't think that people really understand what this particular project is going to do for our city and our town. I would suggest that anybody that's looking to make a move, that are looking for a place to live, the Alexander City school system is going to be a train that's fixing to get rolling, and I would suggest you get on that train now because we're coming, and I'm excited about where we're going, and I know that people are going to want to be a part of what we're about to accomplish.
Dr. Reyes, I want to hit you with a couple things real quick. I think you just said it. Why would you not want to win at everything? And you mentioned the arts, our performing arts, academics, athletics. To me, it all goes hand in hand. If you're kind of good in one and not good in other two, then you still feel that drag. If you're good in two and maybe not good in one, well, maybe it makes the other one pick it up a little bit because they don't want to be the one that kind of drags the as you said, the train behind a little bit. So to me, when you win, you want to win across the board. You want to be the best in all categories. I want your response on that. And then number two, going into this new era of high school athletics and the way things are being approached, it's going to be a challenge for everybody. We have a new director of athletics here in the state of Alabama in Heath Harmon from Oxford High School, and I know he's going to be facing some unique challenges, but I think you just have to have that vision. You have to lock arms, and you just have to say, look, this is the direction we're going to go, and kind of piggybacking off what you said, you can either get on the train or get left behind.
Absolutely. And Brett, guys, Scott, what I see is, as you're talking about the 3As, and I heard Dr. Richardson, the former state superintendent and president at Auburn University, say in a meeting one time, he talked about the 3As, arts, academics, and athletics. And, I just foresee a day in the next couple of years when we get that new high school up and running I mean, let's just think about in a November, December, when maybe on a Tuesday night we go to the new Benjamin Russell High School performing arts area and watch a band performance, and the community comes out. And then maybe on a Thursday night we go back to that same area and we've got a drama presentation by our drama program. And then Friday night at that same location in the new gymnasium, we watch our boys and girls basketball team play high-quality basketball, and you just get the whole community involved again in the arts, the academics. And, you know, there's some challenges, obviously, that we face. But I think that what we've done in Alexander City is we've told the people that, hey, we are willing to invest in our kids by what this board has been able to do in terms of getting this new high school up and going. Heath Harmon, again, the new High School Athletic Association director. I actually worked with him for the last 2 years in Calhoun County, and I believe that he'll have a vision that's going to focus on, again, some of the traditional values we have here in Alabama. But I think he also will be one to embrace the need for change. And we talked about, and I listened to you guys talk about Dabo Swinney and things of that nature just a few moments ago, is change is not always bad. You just have to embrace it and work through it. And I know that we're going to do that in Alexander City as we move forward.
Well, Dr. Reyes, we appreciate you joining us this morning here on the program. And, again, excited to have you back here in Alexander City. I know you are as well, you and your family, and looking forward to seeing what the next several years bring with all the excitement around everything we've got going on.
Absolutely, guys. We appreciate you and look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thanks so much. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. You too.
All right. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Reyes here, our new superintendent in Alexander City. Glad to have Dr. Reyes back in Alexander City, and just a lot of energy, man. Yeah. I mean, you know, you can say things, but you can't fake having that drive and compassion and that energy. And Dr. Reyes has always exuded that as long as he was here, in anything he did and anything he pursued. So we felt like as a board, he was the guy for us here in Alexander City at this time as we move into the future with everything that we've got going on. He's who we wanted to lead this charge, Scott.
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't in a position. He came a little bit after I was done at Benjamin Russell, but I got to see it from an up close and personal view, just how he dealt with the athletics portion, and I'm excited to see that. But from an academic standpoint, I think that at his other stops now we're getting somebody who's, you know, more seasoned and more understanding, and his
absolutely.
vision is a little different than maybe it was before. And so now when you have that type of experience and somebody who understands the makeup of the community and kind of what the expectations are, right, it's a good marriage for what we're going to see from a successful future.
No doubt about it, and excited to have him back. All right, we're up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Since 1908, many talented tradesmen and women have proudly represented the Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air name. We are grateful for their commitment to excellence, always providing our clients with quality work that we're glad to guarantee with 100% satisfaction. No matter the problem, the Dixie Electric team is here for you, serving the Montgomery and Auburn areas. Thank you for choosing a locally owned company.
For more information, go to calldixie.com.
Call Dixie and it's done.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
GlynnSmith.com, the great shopping experience you'll get at our dealership. Online, GlynnSmith.com. Brand new Chevrolets, brand new GMCs. GlynnSmith.com. Compare pre-owned models side by side. GlynnSmith.com. Get your best price every day and see everything we offer at your convenience 24/7. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile at GlynnSmith.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's go back to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. Welcoming our good friend and co-host Luke Robinson on the road, as always, and Luke up in the nation's capital today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to get out of here, though, Brett. I feel like, what was the guy's name in Escape from New York? That's what I feel like. I'm
Kurt
gonna
Russell?
make it out, I think. I ever get a hold of this Uber.
Well, I was going to say, when I wasn't a ringing endorsement for the nation's capital, so I think I'm going to get on out of here.
Hi, this is Brian Fox with Vice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks,
unfortunately, you travel a ton. I travel a good bit. Scott travels a good bit. And you go to some of these areas, man. And look, I made a trip to Washington 5 years ago, took my kids up there. I thought it was a phenomenal trip. When I stayed in the main part of where you wanted to go see all the monuments and do all the historical stuff, but there's a whole nother side to Washington D.C. And if you drift off the main trek of a couple blocks, you'll figure it out pretty quick.
Brett, I don't mean to go off on a rant here, and I want to talk about Alabama or Auburn or whatever you want to talk about. But last night I was in an Uber, and 3 motorcycles go between us and another car. The 2 lanes were together, and the motorcycles go between us like they almost touched each of the side view mirrors. 3 motorcycles with no license plates, because I was like, what is going on? And the guy said they do this, the Uber driver said they do this all the time now. And I said, well, I mean, what if they pass a cop or something? He said the cops won't do anything because what will happen is they'll get in a chase, and then the motorcycle will have a wreck, and they'll sue the city. And so they just let them do whatever they want to do. And I said, that doesn't make any sense. And then, I mean, I'm just telling you, things are so backwards now. I saw we saw the Ms. Alabama, not Ms. Alabama, Alabama Miss pageant or something. And, I mean, you saw who won it, and I mean, it was just like they did it. There was in Maryland a man that a biological male won the female pageant, and I mean, there's just so many things going on that are just you sort of look around and go, what is going on around here?
You almost have to pinch yourself sometimes to go. Do I need to wake up or whatever? But you're right. I mean, again, it's stating the obvious. It's stating reality. And, again, it kind of leads us into, we'll take that segue and go into sports. And that's what we've been talking about in the first hour and the challenges that we found. I kind of apologized to our audience. I said, I know every time they turn on Sports Blitz program and we talk about NIL, but that's what everybody else in the country's talking about too, and you're forced to talk about it because it's shaping it. This is a work in progress. This is shaping our sports and how we look at it and how things are done. And I think Luke, to go off of what you said is like using the motorcycles, for example. Instead of enforcing law and order, we just go, well, that's too much of a hassle to deal with, so we'll just let it go now. You know, and that we see so much of that in society where, well, that's not worth fooling with. Well, that's when you lose control. Well, I think that's what's happened in NCAA in sports. You go, well, we can't really do anything about that. Well, why can't you do something about it? Yeah, you can. You have the leverage. And I think that just is a microcosm of our society.
Yeah, I think everybody's just sort of throwing their hands in the air. And the problem is, you know, we're all still paying taxes. I told you yesterday when I came out of the convention center, there was a man that was, you know, obviously mentally disturbed, and I feel sorry for him in that regard. I do, and he definitely needs help. But he was on the side of the street just screaming into the air, not to anybody in particular, but it was a very crowded area. And he was screaming, you know, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you to death. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And there was a security guard right there, sort of. I saw him with his walkie-talkie saying, I'm going to keep an eye on this guy. And I'm like, hey, you know, there was a time where if you made threats like that, especially in the nation's capital, by the way, that would immediately get you arrested, or at least get you, hey, let's get him off the street because he's scaring the heck out of everybody. And now, I mean, I think everybody's just sort of throwing their hands up because they don't know what they can do. And the NCAA is the same way. The bigger problem is it's a reflection of no leadership, that the NCAA doesn't have any leadership. I'm not so sure in our government we've got a ton of leadership, that from people who are all these people are scared to take on a task because they're worried about the way it looks. Well, sometimes, I mean, you have to make a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice, you know, the way something looks or the way somebody's going to spin it for the greater good. And I think that the NCAA could have done this a long time ago. They could have done several things that would have helped sports in general and not led us down this path right now. I'm going to tell you the truth, Brett. I heard a story yesterday. I'm not going to say where he's from. I might tell you later on, but I'm not going to say who he is, any of this stuff. But I know this, that there's a recruit that's involved with several schools around the Southeastern Conference and beyond, and he's not a quarterback. But what he's essentially asking for is roughly $1 million. He does not play quarterback. And that the going rate for anybody not playing quarterback is not $1 million. And what I'm worried about is somebody's going to be desperate enough to give it to him. Now, you say, why does that worry you, Luke? It's not your money. And that's true. But let me say, and good for the kid if he gets it, I guess. But here's the problem. When somebody sets the market at $1 million for a non-quarterback, and this isn't a receiver, this is a position that you wouldn't think, this isn't a defensive lineman or a left tackle. So this is a very interesting position. And he's a great player, but he's asking for $1 million. And if he sets the market, well, then that's going to set the market for everything else. The quarterback's going to be like, well, if he gets $1 million, I should get $2 million or $2.5 million. And then what I'm saying is we go down this never-ending cycle. And part of me is like, yeah, that's capitalism. That's the way it works. But if you don't have guardrails on things like this, I mean, we have guardrails on gas prices, on all kinds of things, on all different types of commodities. We need guardrails on this too. Look, capitalism in its purest form can be great, but you do have, there are people that can take advantage of that system, so you do have to have some type of governance over that. And you do have to have a guardrail. And I'm hoping that we end up getting a hold of this, because it's getting very scary to me as a guy that is now, Brett, I mean, with you guys at Sports Blitz for nearly 20 years, and the AHSAA radio network for nearly 20 years, and now with Locked on Bama for about 8 years. I've spent a lot of my life, not just at Robinson Iron and my family business, but also in sports. And I don't want all this to go down the drain. I mean, I enjoy this. This is a huge part of my life too. So that's where I'm invested in it.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll roll over here in the studio. We'll just keep this going. We'll catch up on a break down the line, because Luke, want to keep you going here. I've got some thoughts to add to that. I mean, you're looking at Dabo Swinney, and we've talked about him pretty much, on and off in the entire first hour of the show. And it's about where Clemson was from 15 to, let's say, 2020, and then where they've come, where they've gone since then, and they were 9-4 last year, which was one of the worst records that Dabo's had in a long time, dating all the way back to when he first started at Clemson. And it's him saying, I don't want to do the transfer portal. We're not going to do it here. And, it's going to end up costing Clemson their where they are in the hierarchy of college football. But, I kind of, on the other hand, applaud him, and I wish the rest of the coaches would and universities would lock arms and say, look, yeah, we all want to win. We all want to be good. But if we all don't do this in unison and stop this, we've got the power. You got powers in numbers. But like you said, Luke, it only takes one rogue person or one rogue program to say, look, we got to catch up. We got to offer this kid this so we can get him here from an image standpoint. And I think that's why it'll never come together. But if they could somehow unify, you could temper this down a little bit, but I think, unfortunately, we know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to unify. And look, I heard you talking earlier about what the Coastal Carolina coach said about how, if NFL and all that could run the model that college football runs, they'd go broke. Well, they would, but the NFL only has 32 teams. And also within the NFL, there's a hierarchy. The Dallas Cowboys are still probably the most valuable team in the NFL, and they hadn't paid a drop in 25 years. So, I mean, the Indianapolis Colts are not as big a deal as the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Colts are 10 times as big a deal as any team in college football, but they aren't as big a deal as the Dallas Cowboys. And so there's always going to be a hierarchy. But now going back to what you said about Dabo Swinney, yeah, I'm with you. I appreciate his being steadfast in whatever it is he believes, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, there's no reason for me to know this, and I don't know why it popped in my head, and I'm almost embarrassed. But Aaron Tippin sang a song that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Why I know who Aaron Tippin is beyond me. And but regardless,
he must have left a lasting impact on you.
Huh?
He must have left a dramatic, lasting impact on you so much that you remember that. But I'm proud that you do know that.
I remember my home address, and I remember Aaron Tippin sang a country song. It's called "If You Don't Stand for Something, You'll Fall for Anything." And I don't think Aaron Tippin's had a hit since the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. So, but I think he's right. I mean, so Dabo Swinney is standing for something, and there's part of you that's like that's admirable.
Right
now, I think it's also foolish because eventually it's going to bite him right in the butt. But here's the thing, Clemson may be the most interesting team in the country, interesting program in the country right now, just to talk about where they're going. But they have an opportunity, very first game of the year, if they were to beat Georgia. Think about how the narrative changes on Clemson in the snap of a finger.
Immediately. I mean, look, it's easy to look at things and kind of forecast, oh, man, if we start off 0-2 or 0-3, how bad. But you can also flip it around. Scott and I were having that discussion about a certain high school team in the state, and we were looking at their schedule, and we were going, man, they could start off 1-3. But it's like I told Scott, I said, what if they win that game and they start off 2-1? It changes the entire dynamic of how you view them. And, look, I was at Auburn in two polar different years. 97, 98. We opened up with Virginia on the road in 97, went on the road and won that game, propelled Auburn to go and play for an SEC championship in 97. That's how starting the season, is so crucial to me, I think, in getting off on the right foot. Doesn't necessarily mean that's how the season's going to go all the way, but most of the time it kind of sets the tone. Flip around to 98. Virginia comes to Auburn. Damian Craig graduated. My good friend Ben Lear kind of got thrown into the fire at quarterback. Terry Bowden didn't have a plan. Virginia comes in, wins the game 17-0. We looked terrible. It set the tone for the rest of the year. Terry Bowden didn't make it through the year, got fired when Auburn went 3-8. It's really, you just hit the nail on the head. If Clemson starts off gangbusters and can build on that momentum, all this talk's erased. If Georgia blows their doors off, everybody's saying, see, I told you, Clemson's done. Stick a fork in them. Did we lose you, Luke? I think we may have lost Luke there on the phone, but hopefully we can get Luke back to kind of finish this up, because I would like to do that and kind of get his final thoughts. But I do think there's relevancy, and I witnessed it, Scott. From 97 to 98, the teams weren't much different. Now, we did lose Damian Craig, but we never ran the ball worth a darn anyway. The receivers were still there, and the things were still there, but just the momentum had been just sucked out of that team, and we never could. Auburn was in a lot of close games that year, if you'll remember, and just couldn't ever get over the hump. So I think the way you start,
a little bit. I mean, those USC years and like how that set the tone, and then coming back, 04 winning. But Luke makes a really good point, and both of you do. If Georgia blows them out, I think it's over for Clemson for sure. Like, I think that just because that wouldn't, even no matter what's happened, Clemson hasn't been a team, no matter who they were playing, that you'd be worried about them getting blown out, and it very well could happen. But brought up, setting the market and things. The one thing, I don't know, I guess we got Luke back.
Let's see if we can get him back for a few more minutes before we go to break. Luke, you back with us? Yeah.
Hey,
I was worried somebody got you in Washington.
Yeah, I know. Big Pliskin came and got me. But no, it's funny that you brought up that 98 Auburn team, because another interesting tidbit. I've learned here in my old age, I can't remember my own phone number or birthday, but I remember in 1998 when Auburn opened up against Virginia, Auburn accidentally elected to kick off.
They did.
First game of the year, so they kicked off on the first half and in the second half. I'd never seen that before in my life, and that should have been a microcosm of what was going to. It should have been an indication, of what was going to happen to Auburn in '98. But all this is just so interesting about how quickly things can turn on a dime, and Clemson's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year, I think, because if they lose to Georgia, here's the thing: if they lose big to Georgia, I think it's no harm, no foul, because they can always make up for it by doing well the rest of the year. But if they beat Georgia, all of a sudden Clemson's a player again. I mean, they go from, hey, you're on the decline to, wait a minute, you're back in the top 5 program of the country again.
Yeah, I think that's what we just said. I think when we lost you there, Luke, I mean, it just the perception of how you start the season sometimes, especially when there are a lot of doubts. And right now, you saw Dabo last year get in a spat on a call-in show with a fan that was questioning kind of had he lost it and all that. And they finished 9-4, which Scott and I just talked about. Scott brought up, would probably be right on the fringe of getting in the college football playoff, depending on who the 4 losses were to, and 9 wins. I think that's going to be like the magic number, 9-10 wins for a lot of these programs. But I think he's on the clock right now. I think he's definitely been a phenomenal coach. He brought Clemson from the depths and took them to the top of the mountain, one of the top programs in the country for a long time. But now it's starting to fall off a little bit, and I think this right now, this in front of him this year, is going to determine whether he's still around for a few more years or whether Clemson's going to want to go in another direction.
No, I think you're right. And to wrap up, one more thing you said in '98, Terry, that Bowden didn't have a plan. Oh, I think he had a plan. I think he had a plan. He was on that Brian Harsin plan. Let me go in here and stink it up as bad as I can, get fired, and go to the house with a bunch of money. It's not a bad plan.
Well, he nailed it. I can tell you that. I had to.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. I'll never forget. I got a call on Friday night. I was out and with a bunch of friends, and they said, "Hey, we need you to be at the stadium at I can't remember, way early. We were playing Central Florida that day, and I'm like, why do we have to get there so early? It's like, because you got to set up the press conference because we're about to name Bill Oliver as interim head coach. Terry Bowden just quit, just got fired. We basically just was told to get out, and he had to go in there and tell his team. I was like, boy, this is going to be a fun one. So anyway, yeah, I remember a lot about the 98 years. Hey, well, Luke, we appreciate it, buddy. Be safe out there, seriously.
See you.
All right, see you. And trying to get out of Washington and none too soon. All right, we're up against a break. We'll take an extended break here. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
GlennSmith.com, the great shopping experience you'll get at our dealership. Online, GlennSmith.com. Brand new Chevrolets, brand new GMCs. GlennSmith.com. Compare pre-owned models side by side. GlennSmith.com. Get your best price every day and see everything we offer at your convenience 24/7. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile at GlennSmith.com.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice.
here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. A couple segments left on the show this morning. We're glad that you've joined us here. Man, I appreciate Luke being with us and kind of giving his thoughts. Didn't really get into anything Alabama with him today, kind of going off of what we were talking about in the first hour. And really wasn't planning on talking about Clemson and Dabo Swinney, but kind of tying everything in with the change of NIL and having a new AHSAA director here and the challenges that he might face moving into, to the next few years with NIL, what everybody's facing in a leadership role, Scott, with NIL and how you recruit players. You heard Luke say, it's about the market and what people are willing to give a player to come to their school. And, Scott, I wanted to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more here in this segment. And it really boils down to, and I've said this for a while now, the colleges have leverage too. They provide the facilities. They provide the university. I mean, where are these guys going to go play sports? If they were to say, no, we're not paying you that. And every school said, no, we're not going to do that. I was told yesterday, and again, we won't throw names out there because I just think, from a privacy standpoint, we want to make sure we're not just – this is a reliable source. We don't want to pass wrong rumors, but basically there's a kid that's being recruited as well. I know Luke said the same thing, but this is a different one. And right now his dad's kind of pushing him with all these schools and seeing what kind of offer they can get, and he's not getting the offer from anybody that he thinks his son deserves. But he thinks that, the guy that I was talking to said, look, these are pipe dreams out there for a lot of people. The reality is that they're not going to get what they think they're going to get. They may get a good sum of money, but they've got something here in their mind established based on I don't know what, that their kid is worth this much money. And they're going and shopping around in these schools that they're going to that they think want them really bad, and they do, are not coming close to those offers. And they're like, man, well, I thought this is what it was. And it's like, no, that's not what it is.
Well, a lot of it, too, is if you think about your donor base, typically you have some people who give on a continuous basis, but it's probably broken up. So they may make a commitment, say, well, I'll give the athletic department $100,000, and over the next 3 years you spend how you need to. Well, now you're having to go to these people every year, and it's like, for us to get him, we need that. And so donor fatigue is going to become an issue at some point, too, because if you don't start seeing the results on the field, then it increases
That's
the
another
pressure.
thing, too, Scott. I mean, it was always the, I guess, polite thing to not boo your team. boo your player. You know, it had to be really bad. Fans frustrated with something going on to send a message. They may not necessarily be booing a player, but booing an offense. You need to run the same play over and over, run the same. You're getting your brains beat in, and you go out there and you do the same thing. Finally, fans go, I'm tired of this. We're about to send a message on our 7th 3-and-out this game. Now, these kids are going to be treated like adults because they're drawing this money and they're asking for this. And well, with that, it comes performance. And if you're paying this kid a lot of money and everybody knows you pay him a lot of money and he goes out there and underperforms and drops 3 or 4 passes in a game and stinks it up and looks like he's not trying and, you know, giving half effort, you're going to get your butt booed off the field. And then when at the end of the year, you're probably going to go through an evaluation and go, you ain't getting paid this, you know, and nobody else is going to pay you either because we just saw what you can do. So we're going to cut some money from you. We're going to take something away, and you're welcome to stay here. But if not, you're welcome to leave as well. So that, too, I think we're going to see kind of rear its ugly head a little bit. You know what's coming. There's going to be somebody that underperforms for some team, and he's either going to get benched or cut or something like that, and then it's going to get into a big sticky wicket on how you handle somebody in the offseason. It may not necessarily be the kid saying, I'm going to leave. It may be the university saying, hey, you ain't going to stay on this team anymore.
And, I mean, you think about some of the high-profile guys over the last 10, 12 years that Auburn brought in that were supposed to be big 5-star guys that in today's age you'd have had to pay them, you know, pretty sufficiently for them to come. They wouldn't have.
Byron Cowell.
That's the prime example of who I was thinking about.
I mean, bingo.
So, like,
number one player in the country.
What the school does have an obligation to protect its investment too. So if you're not,
you want it your way, we got to do it our way too.
Agreed.
And you know, if you're successful and you're going to reap the rewards, but don't come crying when you don't go out and fulfill your duty, and you get cut back some or whatever. And I just think, you know, and again, the colleges aren't going to unify. It is never going to. You're always going to have one that. Let's just throw an example out there, Scotty. If you're the number one player in the country and you're asking for all this money, and you know the top 25 programs in the country are like, I mean, I'd love to have you, but I'm not paying you that. Well, program 26 down here is like, well, I can get him and change our stature, change the way we're looked at nationally, and we can have some prominence. So, and then when that happens, then you're right back to square one again. There's not going to be any continuity and unity from the schools to stand up to some of these unrealistic asks from some of these players and their families.
And we'll catch this part on the other side of the break, but when we're talking about setting the market and things, I do want to get your thoughts on, you know, there is a kind of a structured base, especially when you're coming to the NFL and you're drafted. Like if you're in this slot, you get this. So we're looking at something where you say a 5-star, regardless of the position, you're going to warrant this money, or is it going to be position-based? So the quarterbacks are going to be like they're at some point.
Will you see a college draft? Will you see a college draft? And I don't know how you would handle that because, I mean, you only have 32 teams in the NFL. I mean, who are you going to put in the draft? 60 teams? I mean, you're not going to have – I don't think that would work, but would you go to some kind of deal like that where you're in an open negotiation?
I don't know. So that's something to ponder too. But all right, we got to get to break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Is the time, and Team One Hyundai is the place for the best deals on a new Hyundai. Rebates up to $2,000, 3 years of complimentary maintenance, and the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Team One Hyundai has Elantra, Palisade, Santa Cruz, and the all-new Santa Fe. Get America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, plus Hyundai Assurance, and the best deal you can find. Let us prove it. Team One Hyundai, Highway 77 in Rainbow City.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to thank both of them. Been our corporate partners here on the Saturday show for 17, 18 years running, and I really, really appreciate them. Absolute mainstays here in the Lake Martin area. JR Sports Bar and Grill for some of the best food that you'll have in this area. When you come to this area for the first time, it seems like when you ask, hey, where do we need to go eat? JR's is where you go. It kind of sets the bar. Sunshine Heating and Air for all your heating and air needs, man. Feels good outside today, but man, when these summer months roll around, it doesn't take long when that air conditioning unit goes out. You're trying to get some relief. Call on Sunshine Heating and Air today, 825-4849. Scott, to close out the show here in the last 2 segments, we'll kind of shift away from the college side. You and I talk a little NBA, and the NBA finals are in play. I know we didn't even really get into the NCAA Super Regionals. Hadn't really had a chance to talk about that, and by the time this rolls around next week, we'll have the College World Series team set, so we'll talk more about it then. But the NBA playoffs, Luka Doncic trying to get Dallas over the hump. Highly touted player for the last several years, kind of one of the young phenoms. But Boston, just a dominating win in game one. Porzingis comes back, which obviously helped tremendously. I think he had 20-something points in the game, which ended up being the difference. I felt like Boston's been the best team all year. I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I was a little torn. I'm a big Lakers guy, so it's hard to pull for the Celtics. But I really like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and obviously with Porzingis coming back, that's a big addition. But the way they were able to shoot from the perimeter in game one, if they can do that, it's going to be tough. I thought that the real key would be which Kyrie showed up, and early on in the game, I thought that that's the Kyrie that they're going to need to win. But without him being the player that Dallas needs him to be, it's going to be tough. I don't think it'll be a sweep. I think we'll get a competitive series, but I think Boston probably gets it done in 6. It'll be tough for to handle the way Tatum's been playing lately. And for his legacy too, and he's been considered one of the top 3 to 5 players in the league for the last 2 or 3 years. And you look at his accolades. Since he's entered the league in 17, he's got the most playoff minutes, points. I mean, he's there, but needs to get over the hump. There's talk that possibly maybe would break up that team. Jaylen Brown got his big contract extension a couple of years ago, but Tatum maybe could be out if they don't win it. But if you do win it, you're looking at a team that could be coming right back again next year to go for it. So Dallas still young. So
Kyrie Irving playing great, by the way.
I mean, like he's that's not why they lost. It wasn't him. So I will say that. But I think that if you're Dallas, you're still in a good spot moving forward in the future, regardless of what happens here, because Luka is, I think, you could say him or Joker, one of the two, 1 and 2 players in the league. But it should be. I think it'll be entertaining series.
All right, so kind of just shifting around real quick, a couple of things I want to cover. How much longer does LeBron James have in the league? I mean, maybe a year or 2. I mean, realistically, is he gonna just hang around?
I'd say 2 more years. I think.
All right, so maybe the bigger question to you is, does he ever win another ring, or is he done?
I think that if the Lakers can get a point guard, a real point guard, I like.
Who are they going to hire as their coach? Dan Hurley, J.J. Redick? I mean,
my gut still says it's going to be J.J. Redick. I think that Hurley probably ends up staying and gets a massive increase in money to stay, but they've been working on this for a month, so you would think that they would have had somebody.
Man, you've been watching how the structure of college sports is going to be funded moving forward. He's probably looking over there. He's like, our football team sucks.
And we
can get any revenue off that.
It's a win-win for him, because if you go and the Lakers are successful, then he's a top dog, and they'll win. I think that they could win some championships. But if they don't and he fails miserably, then he's the top candidate for any college job he wants. So it's not the end of the world for him. And if you think about his trek, high school coach to now have an opportunity to be, the biggest brand in the NBA, I think you take the opportunity. But with what you're saying, it makes it hard to want to stay when revenue-wise, it's going to be tough to compete.
Definitely so. Just coming across here just a minute ago, it said Caitlin Clark looks to be left off the USA roster for the Olympics. I know we haven't hardly ever said anything about WNBA on this program, but man, the talk, and it centers around her, and it centers around Angel Reese and some of this, this class that came into the WNBA, and it's a positive for their sport. But man, there's a lot of animosity and a lot of turmoil going on. That's also the baggage that's going along with all this.
Yeah, the last week or so, there have been a lot of mainstream media, especially after the shove she got in the game, and talking about the WNBA and her impact. But I thought that Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser had a really good conversation about it earlier in the week, and I thought Wilbon said what needed to be said that people have kind of been dancing around. It's okay to say that there's a racial component with this, and it's okay to say that there hasn't really been, like in the NBA, there isn't a white American star. Like you have some European stars. We just mentioned the top 2 players, Joker and Luka, but there isn't a white American star. So when you have a 60% league that's black, and now you have the star of the league isn't reflective of that.
Say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients.
No, you're right. I agree. I guess we're at break. I don't know.
You have
we
all
just
the
got
tools needed to
no
finish your
respect.
degree at Jacksonville State
I can't even get
Our Masters in Nursing program
No.
is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical.
We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. Scott, do you remember your thought?
I had a little bit. I was just
saying, can't get your name in the intro, and just it's like, well, he in mid sentence, we just got to go.
No, it was probably for the best, but just saying that, she's polarizing for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
And so I get some of the resentment a little bit if you're a current WNBA player, because they've been on the grind and they've been putting it in, and they're good players too. And I could see where you could feel like, it's more than just her, but she also got you chartered jets and she and the viewership for her games is about 10 million people difference. And it's 7 million
it
for
is
an
what
average
it is,
game.
man.
Yeah,
I think some people just try to ignore the obvious, and they try to make it about something else. And look, it's an ego thing. Let's be honest with you. The ladies that play in the league up to this point, and then you get, not just Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese and the rest of this group that came in has brought notoriety. I'm sorry that y'all hadn't done anything. I'm sorry you hadn't been the name of these girls, but it is what it is, man. So embrace it and you get better, and be glad that your sport's getting a lot more notoriety, because it's been on life support forever, to the point where everybody's like, it loses massive amounts of money. Maybe actually it'll make a little money now.
Yeah, I think that I do. Again, I can understand it from a current player's perspective, but at the same time, if the eyes are now on you that weren't before, then I would be trying to do what I could to make sure that that person was protected, especially as a team. The teammates are protected. There's a lot. And I think that Caitlin Clark's a fantastic player, and she will continue to do great things for the league. But the way it's been talked about and discussed the last week or so, it was a little overkill, I thought. But it's okay to say, I wasn't watching the sport until Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and the rest of that rookie class came into the league. That's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Because none of us were.
Yeah,
let's be honest about it. And now you've actually drawn some type of viewership, some decent numbers because of who's there. Look, Michael Jordan, when he got to the league, he took his shots. They said, look, you're the newcomer. We're we're going to rough you up a little bit. We're going to send a message. You know, I think that's a part of an initiation, and I don't think anybody's feeling sorry for anybody on that deal, but you kind of earn your stripes a little bit. You know, I think that's kind of part of any organization or any league where somebody that's a newcomer is getting all that attention. You're like, you know, it's not going to be easy, you know, but you battle through it, then you earn respect over time, and so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. All right, well, interesting stuff today, lot that we covered, and again, we'll be back with you next week for more Sports Blitz programming, beginning on Monday with another edition of Auburn Blitz, and that's Monday through Friday from noon to 1. We'll have Sports Blitz Live and Lake Martin Sports Roundup on Tuesday evening from 6 to 9. Starting with Lake Martin Sports Roundup and, of course, Sports Blitz Live for 2 hours on Tuesday night, 7 to 9. And then we'll be back with you next Saturday right here again for another edition of the Saturday Sports Countdown. We hope all of you have a wonderful weekend out there, safe weekend. Enjoy the great weather out there, and we'll see you next week. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance. With a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners, they honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Dadeville. No appointment needed.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.